It was supposed to be a future built on love, commitment, and hope, a promise of a life together, of dreams fulfilled in a new home, and a wedding planned for 2026. Alexus Lee, a 25-year-old educator and recent graduate of Southern University, and her fiancé, 35-year-old JR Collins, a dedicated truck driver with a passion for high-performance cars, were not just partners in love, they were partners in building a family, a life, and a legacy for their 4-year-old son, Gabriel. But in the early morning hours of a quiet Friday in East Baton Rouge Parish, Louisiana, that promise was shattered beyond comprehension. In a sequence of tragic and improbable events, both Alexus and JR were killed in separate car crashes along the same road-plank road within a span of less than 2 hours. Their lives ended just as they were poised to truly begin. The unfolding of this harrowing sequence began shortly after 2:00 a.m. on that fateful Friday morning. Alexus Lee was behind the wheel of her SUV driving along Plank Road in the Zachary area when, according to Louisiana State Police, she lost control of the vehicle. The SUV veered off the roadway and slammed into a culvert, a concrete drainage structure commonly found in rural and semi-rural areas across Louisiana. The impact caused the vehicle to overturn violently. Emergency responders arrived on the scene swiftly, but it was already too late. Alexus had succumbed to her injuries at the site of the crash. She was not wearing a seatbelt. The circumstances surrounding her presence on Plank Road at such an early hour remain undisclosed. But what is certain is that her untimely death triggered a second wave of unimaginable sorrow. Within moments of confirming her identity, state investigators reached out to her fiancé. Around 3:00 a.m., JR Collins received a call that no one should ever have to answer. He was informed that the woman he loved, the mother of his child, his future bride, was gone. His reaction was immediate and, in hindsight, tragically fated. He got into his vehicle and headed toward the crash site. What happened next defies belief and underscores the razor-thin edge between life and death on the open road. As JR drove toward the scene of Alexus's accident, traveling along the same Plank Road, he too lost control of his car. According to Louisiana State Police, the second crash occurred just before 3:45 a.m., less than 2 hours after the first. It took place just outside the small town of Clinton, several miles north of the initial accident. JR's vehicle left the road and struck a tree with catastrophic force. The impact was so severe that he was ejected from the vehicle. Like Alexus, he was not wearing a seatbelt. He died at the scene. The narrative of these dual tragedies is as devastating as it is improbable. The statistical odds of two people so intimately connected perishing on the same road, in separate accidents, mere miles and minutes apart, are infinitesimally small. But in East Baton Rouge Parish that morning, such a nightmare became a reality. Alexus Lee's journey had only just begun to flourish. At 25, she had recently graduated from Southern University, a historically black university in Baton Rouge that has been a pillar of education, activism, and opportunity in Louisiana since its founding. A graduate of a rigorous academic program, Alexus had chosen to dedicate her life to teaching and community development. She was employed at East Feliciana STEAM Academy, a school known for its commitment to science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics education. Her role there underscored her passion for nurturing the minds of young students in one of the state's more rural parishes. She was more than a teacher, she was a role model to many of the children who walked through her classroom door each day. JR Collins, 10 years her senior, brought a different kind of dedication to his life's work. A professional truck driver, he navigated the highways and byways of the American South with diligence and care, transporting goods that kept the region's economy humming. But JR was not defined by his occupation alone. He had a deep and abiding love for sports cars, a passion that reflected his appreciation for engineering, speed, and the freedom of the open road. Friends described him as warm, steady, and fiercely protective of his family. His devotion to Alexus and their son Gabriel was the cornerstone of his life. Their deaths leave behind not just the echo of what could have been, but also the very real and immediate challenge of caring for their young child. Gabriel, only 4 years old, is now without both of his parents. While the article does not expand upon who will assume guardianship or how the child's care will be structured moving forward, the implications are enormous emotionally, logistically, and financially.